Welcome to Hanging with Gary. And we're back, Johnny D.
Yes, we're back.
Welcome to Hanging with Gary. Here's truly Gary Hobbs, Johnny D, minus Little D.
MIA.
He's off the payroll, yeah.
Chill.
Just do. Third season, episode 4.
Yes, sir.
Season 3, episode 4, Hanging with Gary. Shout out to those that are listening in to us now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Again, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and GaryHobbs.com. Hanging with Gary. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs. And we start. How was your weekend, Johnny D?
Moving on up.
You're
Pretty
moving
good.
on up.
Yes, we are on the podcast, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Oh yes, yeah, no. It was a great weekend. I as you know, I got me like a monthly gig now.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Azul.
Azul.
Yes, sir.
Restaurant?
Azul restaurant there at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino.
There
Shout
you
out
go.
to all the guys there.
In October, you can go visit Johnny D, have dinner, listen to smooth sax. That's at Azul Restaurant inside Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino.
Yeah.
During the month of October, Thursdays through Saturdays.
Thursdays, Fridays.
Man, you got a residency now.
Yes, sir.
Qué bruto.
Me creo mucho.
Yeah. I'm sure of it. I hate you now. I'm sure. Hey, well, my weekend, where was I? I don't even know where I was, but no, Friday I was in Pleasanton. The office, bar, grill, stuff. Really nice. Linda gente in Pleasanton, Texas. Big shout out to them and thank you for all the love and support and hospitality. And now Saturday I was in Dallas at a quinceañera. And happy birthday to Maggie Celeste. And we had a great time. Great time in Dallas. Saturday, band played well. Shouts out. The usual suspects. Padre Jaime Samago, Homero Castillo, Gabriel Gil, Roger Salinas, and Josh Ramirez. Chris Roman on sound. We had a good weekend. Good weekend. Gracias a Dios.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to start off with, we like to remind everybody to let them know, Johnny, that when we do these podcasts, we have nothing planned. And so that's why some of the shows are bad and other shows are really bad. But because we just on the fly. So I'd like to start our first segment on the fly. So I was going through Facebook just in a hurry. I don't want to mention any names because I'm not like that, right? But a good friend of mine, he posted something on Facebook and he's talking about these new awards and he didn't go into names, right? And about, how can you get nominated with just one song and not even an album and not even touring and stuff like that. And it just ding, it just hit me. Because some people started to criticize him, not too many people, but this person is a very down-to-earth, humble, always ready to help out. I won't mention his name, but and he's also performed with big-time bands, and I kind of fell for him, and I wanted to post something, and I probably will later tonight, but so the commentary here is we're back again to these awards. I know that the Tejano Music Awards are coming up, and then I think my awards, Tejano Awards in the Valley are coming up, I think. And so I see the lineups, and I'm good. I'm good with it. I don't see a lot of the nominations, who made the top 3 or 5, stuff like that. So I can't critique it yet. But remember we had this conversation about the Grammys and stuff like that, and the Latin Grammys, and how do you separate it from Tejano Norteño. And now, I think, how do you separate it that we have people that are out there, they record one song, and it looks like they become social media darlings or social media stars, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't toured. And I don't have a problem with any of that, John. I truly don't, because I think these new artists need to do all they can do to get out there. And now social media is a very, very big part of it. But I think if these awards had prerequisites, back in the times of Moses and Methuselah, when I started in Tejano music, the Tejano Music Awards, they were, you had to vote. They would put out the ballots in the newspapers, and you had to mail it in. Something about those mail-in votes, I'm just I'm not on board. But and through the years now, through social media, well, you vote and you cast it and you upload it or whatever, and I think we've come to a point where society, everybody's offended really easy.
True.
I mean, they're offended if they didn't get nominated. They're offended if they didn't win. I can tell you, in the 90s, there were 2, 3, 4 big top Tejano acts, and they wouldn't participate at the Tejano Music Awards, and they had their reasons. And they would say that just one label was getting, involved and stuff like that. And you really never know what's happening behind the scenes in any of these awards and the credibility. Why not just accept, man, I'm saying this and I'm almost raising my own red flag, because I've seen some guys win male artist or male vocalist and they have no album, they have no CD, they're not even touring, and they may get a gig or two, and they get friends together and they gig, and they, again, did they chart on radio? Well, I think that one of the main things, if you're going to get involved with any of those awards and you really want to know the skinny on it, if they have, what are the prerequisites? I'll give you an example. I did a collaboration about a year and a half ago, David Mares and Joe Posada, La 45, and it does not qualify for the Tejano Music Awards. It has to be a part of an event, a CD, a project, not just one song. Mm-hmm. But see, those are prerequisites from the TTMA, so that is understandable. But there's other awards that everybody's got their own prerequisite, their own rules, and you see somebody that just, again, what is the fiscal year in a business? Well, what is the timeline, the year, from what date to what date that they qualify? Every award is different, but I'm on board that a lot of these young acts, they have to do the rounds. They have to go to the award. They have to hit social media. I think some of these young artists are so focused on social media, and I think it helps them. But so many talented young artists out there, and kudos and big shout out to them. And what is your opinion, Johnny D?
I was just gonna, I saw that today, and like you, I'm not gonna mention like the awards or anything like that, but I did have that question because I did see.
But I don't think they mentioned which awards. I just saw awards.
No, well, I did.
Oh, you saw something else? Okay.
I did see something, and I saw comments that people were making, like for example, like what you were saying, that okay, what qualifies this person to be there, and it's like a lot of people don't even know those persons, and they're like up for male vocalist or female vocalist of the year, and then like, okay.
Well, what's interesting? Let me interject something. It's interesting that some of these awards, they call them Tejano, and what alarms me is that I'm in Tejano and I have not heard some of these names, and so that's not a knock on the artist.
Exactly.
Because I don't even know half the artist, and there's so many talented musicians out there. I may know them by face recognition or because they're with that band. I don't know their names, so I can't critique that. But go on. I want to interject just that.
No, well, I mean, I know where you get, or I know where you're coming from, but like I said, just like not even knowing the, I mean, because I see some of the names of the songs that are also like selected, like like, or for example, album of the year for certain bands, and I haven't even heard a song from them. You know what I mean? And yeah, one thing is to hear them local, like if they hear them here locally, but
well, some of those awards may be también just regional or local.
Mm-hmm.
They're local, right? So that could be also
true.
I think a lot of it, where it hits me, is that, man, I was blessed to come into a record label when I started that they had a sound coming out of that studio that was just killer.
Mm.
But I think a lot of the Tejano producers, they're numbered to get into their schedule and stuff and what have you, unless you produce your own stuff. But some of the production that comes out is, I mean, it's killer, and some of it is not, But I think the quality of, again, Tejano music. I think we'll leave that for another segment. That what is Tejano music these days? Because oh my God, I mean, Chicano was brass stuff,
True.
And just an organ in the back, and then the Fender Rhodes kind of crept in, yeah. So, but then Tejano, what made it Tejano, and then the accordion was, it's always been there, but then a mix, keyboards, synthesizers, brass, accordion. So I think all of that is Tejano, if you involve it. But that's for another segment. But man, that person that was posting today, I can tell you he's class act with me. We worked together, and he's always there for us. And again, maybe next week we'll divulge the name, but it brought up that conversation that here we go again, the awards and people being offended. That in that case, Gary Hobbs has not stopped performing.
True.
But if it's off of the records, then I would understand it. But again, I wish there was a committee with each awards, and that they, that they stand by what they think and not by a popular vote. The Country Music Awards, the CMAs, it's a committee and stuff, and I think they give out like one award. I'm not the People's Choice Award or quién sabe qué like that. I remember seeing something like that. I may be even wrong about the CMAs. It may have been the American Music Awards, but an academy, a committee, and they select, and they have their prerequisites, the timelines and stuff, and I wish that was with every award, but because if it becomes popular, then there's no way Garth Brooks would lose or George Strait would lose.
True. Yeah.
Because just look at their touring and their record sales. But country music knows how to do it, man. They nurture and they bring up artists, and the industry is, thriving. Nashville is as hot as anywhere else. And I wish I could say the same thing about San Antonio and Texas. And Tejano music is not thriving like it used to. But I think the influx of new artists would really help. And I see a ton of list of young female singers. Very few male singers, but hardly anybody as a band, a group, and that they're playing Tejano or a modified version of it. Well, that's our controversy segment, Johnny D. Once again, we're on the fly here, creating it, but yours truly, Gary Hobbs and Johnny D, hanging with Gary. We're in Eagle Pass, Texas. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back and hanging with Gary. Once again, this is season 3, episode number 4, and here's Mr. Gary Hobbs.
Thank you, Johnny D. Just truly Gary Hobbs, hanging with Gary. On our today's Tejano segment, here on Hanging with Gary, we're going to bring to you new music by Grupo Alamo with Mark Ledesma on vocals.
Yeah,
Very
awesome.
interesting. Of course, Mark has been their own band, Ledez and Grupo Alamo, and I don't know if this is collaboration, but nevertheless, it's Tejano. It's very good,
Yes.
very good.
Yes, it is.
So this is Grupo Alamo, Mark Ledesma on vocals. This is Confianza here on today's Tejano.
Que aún sientes amor por mí. Yo ya no quiero sufrir, no volveré a caer en tus redes. Eras tú, mi amanecer, y un día te fuiste sin decir adiós. Dame una razón para confiar en lo que me ofreces. Que me necesitas más que ayer, pero es difícil de creer. La confianza que había en mí se fue en busca de ti cuando te perdí. Eras cual pétalo en flor y con que olvido se marchitó. Que decida mi corazón, porque él fue quien más sufrió. Demuéstrame que aún sientes amor por mí. Yo ya no quiero sufrir, no volveré a caer en tus redes. Eras tú, mi amanecer, y un día te fuiste sin decir adiós. Dame una razón para confiar en lo que me ofreces. Que me necesitas más que ayer, pero es difícil de creer. La confianza que había en mí se fue en busca de ti cuando te perdí. Eres cual pétalo en flor y con que olvido se marchitó. Que decida mi corazón, porque él fue quien más sufrió. Que decida mi corazón, porque él fue quien más sufrió.
Grupo Alamo, Mark Ledesma on vocals. Undeniable, that's him, right?
Oh, yes.
Undeniable.
Great song.
Confianza. Tejano music, that's what I'm talking about, Johnny D. On today's Tejano. Once again, what we look at, ladies and gentlemen, on today's Tejano segment, and maybe one day we bring today's Tejano.com because we have it registered. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes.
But what we do look at is new music within the last year. maybe a year and a half, because we were looking at the COVID stuff, right?
Sure.
But on today's Tejano, you can send music to podcast at GaryHobbs.com. Anybody listening with new music, help us out, help a friend. New music on MP3, you can send it to podcast at GaryHobbs.com for our today's Tejano segment here on Hanging with Gary. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs, Johnny D. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hanging with Gary. Johnny D, Johnny Level, Gary H, Gary Hobbs in the house. You're listening to Hanging with Gary. Once again, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on YouTube, GaryHobbs.com. In our Gary Hobbs news, in local news, want to talk a little bit, just a little bit. Next week, I'll make a surprise phone call. Don't tell Hector Gutierrez. Don't tell him. I'm going to call him like, no, it's hard because he's an early bird. He can get up at any time. He's not like me. You don't go to sleep at 6 in the morning like me. And you're going to work at 6, 7, so we're kind of... But on Gary House News, we have a new CD coming out very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we signed with Freddie Records label. Freddie Records out of Corpus Christi. Big shout out to all the staff. Freddie Records, man, unbelievable. And we signed last part of April, I think, and we finished all the parts, all the tracking. Gracias a Dios, all the vocals.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And... But a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. I got to write 5, 6 songs, something like that, 7 maybe. But we have 2 of your songs, Johnny
yes.
D. Johnny
Thank
D,
you.
2 songs.
Thank
we
you.
We have a song by Ernesto Cervera. And we have 2 songs written by Don Freddy Martinez. The Don Freddy Martinez. And, well, we let the cat out of the bag, but maybe I shouldn't. I hope I don't get, called to the principal's office or anything. But I was blessed to be able to collaborate with Don Freddy Martinez, the Don Freddy Martinez Sr., and a song that he wrote. I can tell you it's a lot like his style. So it was a little bit out of my element, but I mean I was floored to be able to do it, and he showed me a song and I loved it. And except when I'm hearing it, I'm envisioning him singing it, right? And I kind of went around the circles that if he would collaborate with me, and the icon just said yes in a hurry, and I was floored. So that's a collaboration that's coming on the new CD. Of course, our producer, Hector Gutierrez, big shout out to him. He's out of Robstown, Texas. He's been doing a lot of our stuff since we met in 1983. Throw it away. And what are the things? I want to thank mi compadre Jaime Samago, who actually produced all my vocals. Mi compadre Jaime Samago. Of course, he did the bass. Padre Jaime Samago, Homero Castillo on the drums. Mi compadre did the bass vocals. Let's see. Gabriel Gil did some keyboard parts. Roger Salinas on the accordion, and we had special guests on 2-3 songs. Chente Barrera on drums,
cool.
Jay Alanis on guitars, excellent musicians. Mariano Herrera, Mariano's phenomenal, producing, and really, oh, my chair. What was that noise? But now we don't have a title for the new CD, and that's something that we're gonna have to wait on. But as we speak, photographs a new video. We have to film that pretty soon, next couple of days. But and it's too late, Johnny, to lose weight for the picture or the video. I'm fried, man. Maybe that's what we should name this: fried chicken, fried. But a new CD coming out on Freddie Records, our first project with them. We are so excited about it and looking forward to it. And hopefully we can divulge the title of the new single next week. So look out for that one. But once again, new music by Gary Hobbs coming out soon. And we want to thank people that have been supporting Cari Karina with her new single. Cari Karina featuring Gary Hobbs. Que lástima. It's been charting on several charts, and we are so appreciative. And I feel great for Cari Karina. Talking about awards, she should be nominated for all of those. But
sure.
again, depending on the prerequisite, the time frame when they release them, and so. But Cari Karina sure does deserve to be on ballots. So
yes,
big shout out, Cari Karina, homegirl, Eagle Pass, Texas. And I say female vocals also. I want to say Jessica Sanchez, because Jessica has beautiful voice and she's a Tejano Music Award winner. And it'd be great to hear new music from her. Hint, hint.
Really good talent, yes. Oh, yes. Definitely.
Well, we'll let the cat out of the bag on that one.
Oh,
soon.
really?
Yes. But big shout out. Shout out Jessica Sanchez. Not just because we're related.
So the rumor is true.
Well, we'll divulge that too next week. Bunch of surprises next week. Right? But keep listening. Hanging with Gary, or Gary Hobbs News. Gary Hobbs, Johnny Davila. We're in Eagle Pass, Texas, of course. And we'll be right back.
And we're back here with Hanging with Gary. Our next segment is going to be Throwback with Mr. Gary Hobbs.
Thank you, Johnny G. On our Gary Hobbs Throwback. So, I was watching El Rey, Vicente Fernandez on Netflix.
Oh, with Jaime Camil? Yes, Jaime Camil. He's the actor.
Yes, but the series, El Rey,
yeah.
Vicente Fernandez, right, on Netflix.
Yes.
And I saw all 36 episodes.
Oh, wow.
It was nice. But I saw Alejandro Fernandez when he was just young. De repente quería cantar él. And it reminded me that back in 2001 or 2, I did a cover from Alejandro Fernandez, Si Tu Supieras, because it's a beautiful song. And the rendition is not like his, but it's in Tejano. So we wanted to bring it here to Gary Hobbs Throwback, and see what y'all think. This is taking it back 2001 or 2. This is Gary Hobbs, Si Tu Supieras.
Para decirte que es tan grande lo que siento. Si tú supieras cómo te ansía cada espacio de mi cuerpo, cómo palpitan tus recuerdos en el alma cuando se queda tu presencia aquí en mi pecho. Entrégame tu amor para calmar este dolor de no tenerte, para borrar con tus caricias mis lamentos. pasión que llevo dentro. Ven, entrégame tu amor, que si me vida estoy dispuesto a enamorarte. Borra por siempre de mi vida todas las lágrimas que habitan en cada noche sin tus besos, en el rincón de mis lamentos. Ven, entrégame tu amor, que está mi vida en cada beso para darte, y que se pierda en el pasado este tormento, que no me basta todo el tiempo para amarte, que no me basta todo el tiempo para amarte, para amarte. Si tú supieras.
That's Si Tu Supieras. Of course, Alejandro Fernández, but en Tejano, Gary Hobbs. ¿Cómo la ves? ¿Cómo la ves?
La veo bien.
Pues así decían en el series de Netflix. Pues sí, ¿cómo la ves?
¿Cómo la ves?
But
I was in that album. I recorded with you.
yes. Coca Noel Garza was on recording, I remember.
Yeah, no.
Hector Gutierrez, of course, was on production too. And that's Si Tu Supieras on our Gary Hobbs throwback here on Hanging with Gary Hobbs. We'll be right back. And we're back, Johnny D.
Yes,
Before we leave, Johnny D, want to thank all the people listening in. Hanging with Gary. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on GaryHobbs.com. And soon coming in video. 3 seasons saying that. But before we leave, Johnny,
We'll get it.
this Friday, October 7th, we are in Houston, Texas at the Rise Rooftop with the South Texas homies. This is this Friday, October 7th, Houston, Texas, Rise Rooftop. Mikey Mike Promotions. On Saturday, we're in Crystal City with La Familia Marquez. Mr. and Mrs. Alex Marquez, they're celebrating 50 years of blissed wedding years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Alex Marquez on their 50th wedding anniversary. That's in Crystal City this Saturday. October 9th, this Sunday, we are back in San Antonio, Texas, Thirsty Horse Dance and Saloon. Looking forward to that one, being back at the Thirsty Horse with Los Garcia Brothers. So that's this Sunday, October 9th, San Antonio, Thirsty Horse. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs, The Usual Suspects, and the Garcia Brothers. Now, on October 14th, we are back in Austin, Texas, con el favor de Dios. We are at the OK Corral, October 14th. October 15th, which is my son, my daughter's, and my grandson's birthday. I will be in Amarillo, Texas at a private event, Amarillo. October 21st, we're in San Angelo, Texas at Wolf's. Please join us, San Angelo, Texas. October 22nd, we are back in San Antonio for a private event. October 27th, we're in Corpus Christi, Texas, Whiskey Rio. Now, October 29th, Corinth, Texas. That's north of Fort Worth, Texas. We had a private event. And October 30th, La Porte, Texas at Texas Snowbirds with our dear friend Tejano Loco, Ruben Peña. I'd like to remind everybody that you can, our social medias are Gary Hobbs Official on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Gary Hobbs Official. A reminder to people with new music, please send us to our show, Hanging with Gary, at podcast@GaryHobbs.com, podcast@GaryHobbs.com. Once again, this is Hanging with Gary. We're on GaryHobbs.com, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's always great to have y'all. Hope y'all listening next week. new surprises, stuff like that. And again, the show is on the fly. Hopefully it's better, but say goodbye, Johnny D.
Later on, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us.
And just one more note. Remind everybody to make your reservations New Year's Eve. We're going to be back at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino inside the Que Pasa Lounge for New Year's Eve with the Gary Hobbs Loose Change Variety Show.
Yeah.
That's where we do a variety of music all night long. And
It's going to be fun.
Call and make your reservations at the hotel because it goes in a hurry. New Year's Eve, Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino, Gary Hobbs. We'll see you next week here on Hanging with Gary. Y'all be safe. God bless. We love you. Till next week. Bye-bye. Welcome to Hanging with Gary.